is Serenity Solutions podcast number 33. Special number, it's an angel number. And it kind of brings me right into what I want to talk about today. Because I've been seeing angel numbers every single time I'll go and do something and I have to put password on my phone for protection. So I get 1133, 1107, which 7 is a special number to me. But 1122 every single time lately in the last 2 days, so part of today so far, it's 12:50 here in BC, but it's just it's unreal. And I know we are in the Lionsgate portal right now, so that is bringing up some special things, some intensity, some emotions, some fatigue, and then energy spurts. It's really crazy. You should read about it if you don't know what it is. But I think some people feel it more than others, and I'm one of those people that has that sensitivity to all of those things. But I just got back from a hike. I'm still actually a little bit sweaty. It's such a beautiful day, and I'm back in the shade because it's a little warm when you're moving your body. But I wanted to talk about manifesting today, and I was listening to a podcast on our walk, which was nice because in the last 3 or 4 days I haven't stopped to listen, just listen to someone and put my phone away, and that felt really good. So if you need to do that, I highly recommend it. However, because it's been busy and my mind's all over the place and I have a lot of different things going on, I was kind of a quarter listening to it because I'm walking my dog and watching things and being mindful and kind of off in my own little world sometimes, to be honest. But then I would catch things and I'm I should rewind that, but I didn't bother rewinding. I'll probably re-listen to it. But it was a bit sad because the person that Mel Robbins had on, Dr. Dodo, I think, has died since the podcast. So that is really sad. So rest in peace, Dr. Dodo, I think it is. The things you were saying are amazing, and it's so cool to have these podcasts, because if you do lose somebody that does podcasts or has guests, it's really nice to be able to listen back. And I wish I had that, of my dad. I wish I had voice notes or something. Technology has grown so much since I've lost him in 2017. But even an answer machine message or something, that would be so special to have that. So I highly recommend cherishing those podcasts and guests that you have on. And life is short, right? And we just have to be reminded of that. And part of manifesting, a big, huge part, is gratitude and being grateful for what you already have, and then calling what you want in, right? And so, I was kind of half listening to them, but I get ideas and then I'm all over the place with my ideas, but then I get, when you get the big picture and you get what am I taking from this kind of thing? Not that it wasn't a great podcast, I just wasn't listening very well. But what I did hear, I enjoyed. So that I think is her latest podcast on August 2nd, 2025, if you're listening to this in the future. So it is August 2nd, 2025. I can't believe it is August already. Summer just flies by, but I'm so grateful for summer and having the time to do other things in the summer and work. I do side jobs, but we need that break to refresh, and then, because I'm a school counselor, so I need to rejuvenate, refresh, and then I'm I need to do something else, and I'm doing something new, and I'm kind of doing one of Eddie Milet's suggestions of compressing. So he thinks that we should compress like 7 days into one day, like to get things done, and because he's intense and he's amazing, and just like really being intentional with your time though, and getting a certain amount of things done so that you can maybe relax at one point in the day later. But I don't know if he actually relaxes, because he starts at 6 to 12, and then he says another day starts from 12 to 6, and then another day starts from 6 to midnight. So he's only sleeping 6 hours at most if he gets to sleep at midnight. But anyways, I'm kind of doing that with what I'm doing, my new venture right now, because I need to do an onboarding kind of course, and it's a 30-day course, and I'm already on day 7, and it's been like two days, and I'll probably do like a few more days today, just because I do have the time right now to focus on those things. But it's also something like I'm used to being able to do that, because I went to school online for a lot of, like, I'm very disciplined in doing things on my own. Like, I'm very independent and I'm very disciplined. So it's I wouldn't say it's easy, but I like to keep busy, and I like to get things done, and I like to do them well, but I'm not like a perfectionist that needs to do it perfectly. So that kind of works out for me. But anyways, this might be all over the map, because I've listened to that Mel Robbins podcast, and I've just read the start of The Power of One More chapter. What chapter is it? I'm doing the One More Matrix chapter. So just a second. I can't. So One More and Living in Your Matrix. So this is chapter 2, not very far into the book. And I want to read this quote to you from Eddie Mylett's book, The Power of One More. By Morpheus, The Matrix. So the Matrix movie, for one thing, I don't think I've seen that movie. And if I did, I wasn't watching it. So I need to rewatch that, or I don't think I have ever watched it. I don't know what year it came out, but I was probably busy doing something at the time. But now that I've read about Eddie's ideas about it, I'd like to watch it, and I might make the time to do that soon, just because everything that Eddie teaches me when I'm listening to his podcast, when I'm reading his book, it's so astounding. Like, I just love the guy and his messages, and he's so deep and emotional sometimes too. I just love that. But anyways, this is the quote. So it says, "This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." So, which pill are you taking? So what does he say? You've probably seen The Matrix, and I haven't, but he talks about one is for fate and one is for free will. So which one would you, if you had a choice, which one would you go with? The one, and maybe if you've seen the movie, you have your answer. But would you go with the one that is about fate, or would you go with the one that gives you free will? It sounds like Keanu Reeves went with the free will one. And there was another quote. So Eddie talks about how we're already living in our matrix, and the RAS, which is the reticular activating system, and that, the blue van thing, or like say you have a red Tesla or whatever, you're going to start loving your red Tesla, and then you're going to see Teslas everywhere, and they've always been there, but you're noticing them because it's now in your reticular activating system, and that reticulating activating system, is something that he talks about a lot in his podcast and a bit in the book, but it reveals to you what's most important in your life. Because, like, maybe you just made a big purchase and you keep seeing that red Tesla and you're like, oh, I love my red Tesla. And like, why? Wow, it's everywhere. But, or maybe you like somebody and you keep seeing people. This is something my dad talked about, that look like that person. And I experienced it recently, actually. But everywhere you go, not like, maybe you don't see that person's lookalikes everywhere you go, but you might see someone that looks like them, randomly, that you never noticed before because you started liking that person. And so now your reticular activating system is now watching for that kind of lookalike. Like, you're kind of looking around and you're like, oh, that person kind of, you know what I mean? I'm sure you probably went through that before. And he also talks about living deeper and slowing down, your matrix. However, he talks about slowing down, but then he talks about speeding up. So, and I've already talked about that, condensing, 7 days into 1 day is what he does to get success. But then, of course, he's had to slow down because of medical problems. And like, that was the only thing I wasn't sure about this book, was that if you're always hustling, it is really hard to slow down, because I think we all realize if you ever have hustled or worked really hard at something, or you're all in on something and you're doing all the things and you can't really stop because you're really enjoying it, that it's hard to slow down and relax and go to sleep. It's hard to just do yoga, relax, just stop talking, stop thinking, stop thinking is huge for me anyways. But there is a time for that really is very helpful. And this is something with ADHD and the kids I work with, and like adults that I'm around all the time, and myself, like, I'm not diagnosed with it, but like probably have some form of it. But like, when you're so focused and fixated on things, you can get a lot done. You can be like famous. You can become famous. Hi, hummingbird. Hi, baby. You can become famous. So there's an example right there, like, of my own reticular activating system. Seeing that hummingbird just came right in front of me while I'm doing this podcast. It's just, honestly, the signs I've seen in the last 2 days are unreal, that my angels are with me. And I wanted to do this podcast today because I like to do them when I'm in the mood for them, when I had the motivation to do them, and when I'm going to be able to talk for a bit, because you want it to be a certain length. And sometimes, usually I tend to go over, but anyways, that hummingbird is a reticular activating. It's in my reticular activating system because when my dad died, I always thought that was him visiting, and there were tons, and they haven't ever left. They follow me on my hikes. I see them in places they're not normally seen. I see them at the beach. Like, it's crazy. But I have a lot around my house, and I always have since he passed. But because I think that's my dad, I see them more often, right? So my reticular activating system wants to see my dad because I miss him. Somebody's here. So I see those hummingbirds, and that, I'm like pretty mindful, aware person, but like, yeah, I see them, I notice them, I'm like, hi. And I see eagles, because I love eagles, and those remind me of my dad too. So hopefully this all like is smooth, because like, these are my angel signs, and I started this podcast talking about angel numbers, and manifestation has a lot to do with like appreciating those things that are around you already, but then calling in what you want, right? I think there was something else I wanted to mention about Eddie's chapter, but that's okay. I'm going to watch The Matrix and maybe do a little podcast on that afterwards, but think about what pill you would want to take. Would you want to take, let's say the blue pill is the fate pill, and the red pill's is it the red? I'm just going to change it if it isn't, but no, I'm going to change it actually. So let's say the fate pill is the purple pill. You're just following fate is the purple pill. And if you want free will, I'm going to say free will. Let's say free will would be the yellow pill, because that's the color that comes to mind for me. Or, yeah, no, I'm going to keep it at yellow. So purple pill is the fate pill. If you would like your life to just happen the way it's supposed to, let faith take over. Fate and faith, maybe. What do you got? You got my slipper? Oh my god, my dog's trying to get my attention. I bet he knows I'm working though, and he's pretty good about that. So purple pill is the fate. If you think life is fate, it should be followed. And then the yellow pill is if you want free will and you want to be able to do what you want and plan it out and change things and manipulate things, okay? So think about what one you want, and then I'll watch the movie. Maybe you'll watch the movie, and we can rejoin, or you can comment on my post. Okay, so next I'm going to do a 5-minute gratitude journal exercise, which is from the 5-minute gratitude journal that I got at the dollar store a few years ago, and it was $5, and there's no author, sorry. But there are authors for the quotes. So this is an exercise that you can do, because being grateful is so important. It honestly is so powerful. If you start appreciating what you already have, you're going to call in more. Trust me. It's happening for me all the time lately. So the quote is, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." So this is Epictetus. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but that's who this quote is from, and might be behind the times because it's like a $5 gratitude journal book, but they probably should change it to like people to be sensitive to everybody. But let's say, everyone who does not grieve for the things which they have not, but rejoice for those which they has. How confusing is that? But okay, so basically we shouldn't be grieving for things that we don't have. We should appreciate what we have and call in what we want. That's key. So then there's a little journal exercise that I'll do with you. So someone I get to spend time with today. I'm going to say my animals because I really, really miss them when I was away. I know they're not people, but they're my favorite people. Okay. A reason to smile right now is I'm very grateful. You guys can do this on your own, but I'm just sharing examples for you. Grateful for the scenery I have, this weather, my life, my animals, my family, my friends, being able to see them recently, which not everybody, but just being able to see my mom and sister and nephews and family, cousins, uncles, aunts. My grandparents have all passed away now. But yeah, it was different going back to my roots because we did drive by their house, but they are no longer here, and that was the first time doing that. So yeah, and like I said at the beginning, we need to be grateful for everybody that we have in our lives that we love, because life is short and you never know when you're going to lose them, right? So, A reason to smile right now. Oh, I already did that one. Sorry. I got distracted again. Okay. A valuable lesson I learned from a difficult situation. I'm in Italia. Yesterday I ran out of gas and I wasn't paying attention as much as usual because I've had jet lag and just off in the clouds. I'm still up in the air apparently. And just busy learning new things and kind of digging into things. And I didn't realize I've used that much gas since I've been back. And my car warned me once, like it said low fuel, but you know how you have like a little bit of time before it said performance issues. And then it just shut off. But the angel part of it that saved me was, I'm like, should I go to the co-op because I get money back? No, I'm going to pull in here right now into the Shell station. So I got over the sidewalk curb and then my car just stopped, which is really, I know it's really stupid of me. But that's why I'm using this example, because it was a difficult situation, but a valuable lesson. Because if that wrecks my car in some way that costs me money or whatever, that's not good. But my angels were there to get me off the highway onto the curb, over the curb, and these people pushed me. These two kind men saw me and pushed me to the gas pump. So I had my dog in the car and I'm like, oh, this is funny. But I knew it was my dad, saving me as usual. So that's a valuable lesson, because actually he always told me, well, I lost my dog before him, and I told him that he's Gretzky. Gretzky's watching over me, and he's like, don't depend on your dog. You gotta be careful. He was always cautious, and, you know, both my parents are very cautious, and so now he's telling me not to depend on him, but like, I still do, but it was a very valuable lesson because I have to keep my gas tank, like, over the low fuel sign. It's not good for your fuel pump either. And the guy that pushed me told me that he didn't say it in a bad way or a condescending way or anything, but he just said it, yeah, it's not good for your fuel pump, because sometimes people, like when I was a teenager, I used to let my gas run low all the time. But now I'm a little smarter, a little wiser, a little older, or a lot older. But anyways, that's my lesson, but also inspired some of this because of the angel numbers and because of what happened. Because, like, the guy at the gas station, the other guy he goes, did you just run out of gas right there? And I said, yes. Yes, I'm out. But, like, he couldn't believe the luck that I had to get over the curb. And, like, people are watching. Anyways, it's all good. It's done, and I've learned my lesson. So, something that went right today, we went for a lovely hike. I've communicated with some amazing family members. My dog is happy and worn out. And we have a little pool, little kiddie pool to cool him off. That all went well. Okay, the last quote for this little journal exercise is, I have everything I need to live a full and satisfying life. So remember, the key points when you're manifesting things is to be grateful. And actually, the Dr. Is that what his name is? Not Dodo. Dodo. Sorry. Mentioned in that podcast that you got to go somewhere quiet, away from other people, away from distractions, your phone, everything, just quiet. So, like, meditative state to call in things effectively. That's what he said. Okay. To finish up, I'm going to do a numerology poll because I love them, and I just do them on the spot, so Probably it'll be for me, but it'll also be for anyone that's going to listen to this, that's in my, like, field, like in my energy field. So I'm just shuffling the cards and just saying, like, what do we need to know right now? What's going on? What is happening? And I do this very randomly because I want to know, like, the message from my angels, basically. So I'm going to pick one randomly from closer to the bottom is where my intuition is taking me. Let's see. Oh, 56. 56. I think that's a number that's been coming up a little bit. It's not one of my numbers, but it says relationship change. So let me read what that means. Okay, so I'm reading this from Michelle Buchanan's guidebook, her numerology guidebook. So this card indicates a time when a relationship in your life is going through a period of change. This adjustment is inevitable and necessary for the natural progression of the relationship, and the wisdom and experience gained will be of great benefit to all involved. Whether a child is leaving home, a partnership, friendship has ended, or a loved one, friend, work colleague, or neighbor is going through a change, know that you and the other person are divinely guided and protected and have the strength to carry on. This card can also indicate a positive relationship change, such as a declaration of commitment, for example, a wedding or engagement. It can also indicate the resolution of an ongoing problem or dispute. In order to improve your current situation, you are being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life, cycles that are leading you towards a change in a relationship dynamic. During this period of transition, it's important to remember that as you grow and evolve, your relationships grow and evolve too. So be flexible and adaptable, and know that all is well. And the affirmation is, my relationships grow and evolve for the greater good of all. Cool, hey? So if you've been manifesting a relationship change, whether it's in love, romance, or family, or whatever, this might be for you if you're listening. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do today is, I think, 3 grief cards, because I'm feeling grief lately myself, but I'm also feeling grief in the collective, like, around me. And I think for me, going back to my roots, it brings up a lot of grief, and then returning and just, my dog had a hard time when I was away, so that brings up grief for me too, because I was worried about him a lot, like a mother worries about their child. So anyways, I'm not gonna get too far into that because I won't be able to talk. Okay, so I'm gonna say, understanding grief. You don't get over grief. You learn to live with it in your heart forever. So these are grief. Oh, I should tell you, they're healing grief cards by David Kessler, and they're cards I use at, like, for school counseling or counseling. And that's very cool because, like, I took a picture of the sunset last night and posted a picture of my dad, and, like, it's true. You don't get over grief. You learn to live with it in your heart forever. So always around. It can feel better with time because you heal, but then, of course, what I just said, going back to my roots and just feeling people's energies, and it just comes back in waves, right? Okay, so the second one is, these are random pulls again. This is your response to the loss. So if you've recently lost someone, or if it's resurfacing for you, it says, take time to grieve all that has been lost, the love, the laughter, all the ups and downs, As you move through the pain, the memories will be your cushion. So that one almost makes me cry because it's so true. And my dad in particular was so funny. So the laughter part just I'm gonna probably take a picture of these because it's crazy what comes up. And like, of course I have this psychology background, so I look deeply into things. But it is weird how my podcasts end up being very tied together because of that, I think. Anyways, I'm going to do one more pull, random pull. And the cool thing is, the first one was about healing. The second one was your response, and I'm not doing them in order. I'm just pulling them randomly. So let's see if the third one is the other topic. No, the third one is your response to the loss. So that must be what we need today. It says acceptance doesn't mean you're okay with the loss. It just means in time we must accept the reality they are no longer here in physical form. So that is a cool one with grief, because I think a lot of times we feel guilty if we're like, okay, and we're like having fun, especially early on when you lose somebody important to you. You feel guilty for smiling or having fun or laughing. Probably. Maybe not everybody. Some people deal with their feelings by laughing, which I do sometimes. But it just means in time we must accept the reality that they are no longer here in physical form. For me, I look for those signs in nature and see the angel numbers and stay connected. But I do that. That's me. Somebody else can deal with grief in a totally different way. And I'm not saying this is the best way. I'm just saying it helps me. And it might help you to look for signs in nature or whatever. Whatever helps you. Really, grief is something that is so hard, difficult to help people with, because everybody is different and everybody handles it differently. But I hope that helps you today, because that's the point of these podcasts. And I really enjoy sharing this because I think my relatives recently started listening, a couple that hadn't listened before, and they didn't know I was doing it because they're not on social media. And I have like a lot of relatives. So I shared it and they loved it. And so I want to say to the listeners, because the listening rate has gone up recently with my last podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Obviously, I put time into this to help people. I'm not forcing it on anybody, but if I could help one person today, that makes my heart full. So, especially with the topic of grief, because grief is, as I said, very difficult to deal with. So, I'm going to go now. But remember, maybe think about what pill you'd go with, the purple pill or the yellow pill. And comment below if you feel like engaging in that conversation. All right. Have an amazing day, everybody. Have an amazing long weekend. Stay safe driving on the roads, and I'll see you next time. Stay calm, cool, serene, and have a good day.